Right now at 6, Oregon's governor finally signs new transportation taxes into law. Months after the legislature passed the spending bill, the controversy surrounding the law and how it will impact your bottom line. Plus,
one loss of a benefit like this could make someone homeless.
SNAP benefits remain uncertain for Oregonians next month as the Trump administration asks the Supreme Court to maintain the pause during the government shutdown. How local organizations are working to support families who need help putting food on the table.
And while the government shutdown could be nearing its end, travel troubles are piling up nationwide, including one PDX traveler who's had his flight canceled, get this, 4 times, why flight plans could get worse by week's end.
Good morning, and thank you for joining us on your Tuesday. I'm China Green.
And I'm Tim Gordon in for Drew Carney on this Veterans Day. Rod Hill standing by with a look at our Tuesday weather, Rod.
Yeah, we have a dry day. So all of your outdoor plans, different ceremonies, perhaps at cemeteries in some cases, you're going to find dry weather. So all good news. We do have kind of broken cloudiness up top. There's our state capital, the Salem, this morning. 49, it's another mild start. Better view of some breaks in cloud cover over downtown Portland, and we are at 48 degrees. There's not much wind out there this morning, calm to 5 to 10 generally from the north. So we'll look for some early sun breaks, 47 degrees, maybe some sun breaks at noon, 54. Again, all dry for outdoor recess. Kids get out of school today. Cloudiness thickening up, coming up from the south, but still dry and about 58 degrees. And that is your Veterans Day forecast.
Rod, thanks a lot. Well, Governor Tina Kotek has signed a transportation bill worth billions of dollars 2 months after it was passed by the Oregon legislature.
So money will go towards maintenance projects and to prevent hundreds of layoffs. Sunrise reporter Thomas Schultz joined us now. So Thomas, why did Governor Kotek take so long to sign the legislation?
You know, guys, it really boils down to political gamesmanship. Republicans have long said that once Governor Kotek signs the bill, they'd push to refer it to a statewide vote. So Kotek just waited a long time to actually sign it, more than a month. And this is a really big piece of legislation worth $4.3 billion over 10 years. Republicans couldn't actually begin gathering signatures until the bill was signed. Now they have less than 2 months to begin the process to get it on the ballot for next November. On Monday, State Senator Bruce Starr filed the paperwork.
Unfortunately, the majority wasn't really interested in a negotiation. Really what they wanted was the Republicans to agree to a massive tax increase without the reforms that are necessary.
Republicans have until the end of the year to gather 78,000 signatures. For months, they've argued Oregonians just can't afford more taxes, saying transportation funding could come instead from cuts to public transit, bike, and environmental programs. That idea never gained traction among Democrats who muscled this bill through amid Republican opposition. It includes a 6 cents gas tax increase, higher vehicle title and registration fees, and an increase in the public transit payroll tax. Without the funding, ODOT would have had to lay off hundreds of workers. Now, this has been a controversial bill for quite a while. Already, Starr says more than 4,000 Oregonians have expressed support for the Republican petition, though he recognizes with limited time, it'll be a challenge to get the signatures needed. Now, Republicans are pushing to get 100,000 signatures by the end of the year. They've just got under 2 months to do so. If they are able to do that, this will likely be on the next November ballot. Guys?
All right, Thomas Schultz reporting live for us this morning. Thank you, Thomas. New this morning, a Washington County man will spend the rest of his life in prison after being convicted for a second time in a 2018 murder. A judge sentenced Norberto Muniz Jr. to life in prison with the possibility of parole after 25 years. He was again found guilty of killing a woman, then burning her body in a Beaverton backyard. He was convicted in 2022, but the Oregon Court of Appeals overturned the conviction and ordered a retrial.
There is nothing in this that prevents the president from canceling programs that are in the spending bills, and that's outrageous. That's stealing the power of the purse. That's unconstitutional.
And that's Oregon Senator Jeff Merkley reacting to the new deal that may end the longest government shutdown in American history. Yesterday, the Senate passed a temporary funding package after 7 Democrats and an independent broke ranks. And that funding package would extend current government funding through January.
It also includes long-term funding for 3 government agencies, including the USDA, which funds SNAP food benefits. The bill also reverses the layoffs of federal workers at the start of the shutdown. Notably, though, the bill does not include anything around extending Affordable Care Act subsidies. That was the red line for most Democrats, with all 4 senators from Oregon and Washington opposing the bill for that reason. Instead, the deal includes a promise of a vote next month on extending those subsidies, though Senator Merkley expressed doubt that vote will amount to much.
Yeah, I'm extremely disturbed by what's happening tonight, because a group from our caucus made a deal to end our leverage, which produces simply some vote in the future that won't actually be a bill that has a chance of getting out of the Senate, let alone through the House. And that undercut our effort, for sure, to produce a health care win.
Now the bill must be approved by the House before the shutdown is over.
Until a final deal is signed to end the government shutdown, expect flight cancellations to continue. The FAA has told airlines to cut 10% of daily flights by the end of the week. We talked to one man at PDX today who's had his flight canceled 4 times.
It's kind of defeating to show up to the airport and see that your flight's been canceled last minute, and now you gotta go get another hotel, go get another rental car, because the airlines aren't going to provide you any sort of vouchers or anything like that.
So today, 12 departing flights and 11 arriving flights at Portland International Airport have already been canceled.
And rental car companies are seeing a spike in one-way rentals as flights are canceled. Hertz has reported a 20% rise as travelers rent cars as a backup plan to reach their destinations. When it comes to SNAP benefits, the Trump administration is once again asking the Supreme Court to keep full payments on hold during the shutdown. Over the weekend, the White House demanded states that already paid out November benefits like Oregon and Washington to undo it. And now both governors are urging people to check their EBT cards and use the funds that are on there.
It comes after the states were able to get a district court to put a new temporary order in place yesterday that keeps the funds available while the Supreme Court considers its next move. KGW's Libby Dowsett explains.
Elaine has asked us not to use her last name, but shared that she gets about $300 a month through SNAP to feed herself. So seeing that benefit show up last week was a huge relief.
I was thinking, praise the Lord.
But it's no joke for Elaine trying to find backup food at local food pantries.
It is exhausting. You have to get there at a certain time and wait online, and you're not really certain whether you're going to even get anything that you can eat.
Folks at William Temple House are trying to help. They've seen a record number of people show up for food at their food pantry this month.
The line wrapped around the block, which I have not seen before, and we exceeded our daily record. So we had 167 people come through.
Social Services Director Kevin Ryan says one man tried 5 other pantries before finally finding food here. Monday, volunteers packed emergency food bags for those who show up unannounced.
One loss of a benefit like this could make someone homeless. There's a direct line from losing benefits when you have to pay $200 for food. You have to make a choice.
Even with lawmakers touting an end in sight to the federal shutdown, the court battles continue over whether to resume food aid payments in full. The governors of Oregon and Washington assuring people they now have their benefits. Washington Governor Bob Ferguson releasing a statement Sunday saying, quote, "Everyone who receives SNAP benefits should check the status of their cards. If there are funds available, people can use them." But the Trump administration is still fighting the payments in court. The U.S. Department of Agriculture saying it shouldn't be forced to use certain funds for SNAP that might be needed elsewhere. More confusion for people just trying to get by.
It's hard for people to make life choices when they don't know what's coming next.
And that was our Libby Dowsett reporting. We expect the Supreme Court to make a decision later today on the future of SNAP benefits. Oregon and Washington's governors, however, have vowed to challenge any federal attempts to reclaim funds.
Organizations like Meals on Wheels People, which serves homebound adults, says it can't keep up with new requests from seniors. 30% of its budget comes from the Older Americans Act, which hasn't been reauthorized during the shutdown.
we don't know when the next shoe is going to drop, so to speak. So it's a really frightening time, and most older people, they are alone. They don't have that much contact. They're really isolated, so it's hard to continue to say, well, we can feed you today, but not tomorrow.
CEO Suzanne Washington says they haven't had to turn anyone away yet, but are still asking for community support through volunteering or donations. And you can watch the full interview with Meals on Wheels and the Oregon Food Bank on our newest episode of Straight Talk. Stream it anytime on our free TV app, KGW+.
Your time now is 6:10. Headed over to Rod Hill for a look at your weather.
We have quiet weather, and really the headline this morning is, today's dry for Veterans Day. All of your outdoor plans are go, not much wind, temps in the 50s. The weather systems that are bringing us rain starting tomorrow night, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, for the most part, they're now all looking warmer than they were and weaker, which means we're not concerned about mountain snow over passes. No high wind threat at the coast, just kind of quiet weather that picks up with some typical occasional rain. Again, that starts tomorrow night into Thursday. Outside right now, you can see some cloudiness fetching across our two states, but there are breaks in the cloud cover. We are expecting some thicker clouds coming up from the south a little bit later today. So kind of partly sunny to increasing clouds, not much wind. Sun up at 7:05. Temperatures 40s out the door, low 50s at 11, and we'll be up to the mid to upper 50s, it looks like, this afternoon. Here's a look at some breaks in the cloud cover. Pretty shot of the cloud deck over the interstate bridge from the springs at the waterfront camera in Vancouver. Temperature 46 degrees for you folks. And nobody's really that chilly. Battleground was 42, now showing 44. West Lynn 45. Troutdale 49. No wind really out in the gorge today. Salem also at 49 degrees. And the weather map this afternoon, completely dry. You will find increasing partly cloudy conditions in central and eastern Oregon. LeGrand, John Day, Bend, all showing 60 or better this afternoon. Cloudiness increasing coming up from the south, so Eugene will see a lot more cloud cover overall today than Portland, for example. High temperature looks like mid-afternoon, about 56 degrees down there on the U of O campus. 58 today in Portland, another dry day tomorrow, 58 with cloudy skies. Evening shower threat, likely rain overnight into Thursday morning. And then we've got rain at times Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. But a lot of these days, anything from 1/10 of an inch to maybe 1/4 of an inch of total rain. And that's your update.
Thank you, Rod.